I've returned home from work and it looks like this car has been moved because it's been over farther. So this car got moved. The maintenance van, owned by Burns and Company, is sitting right there. And it seems we have a new neighbor over there. I'm going to see if I could get into the building. Oh, that's nasty. Who did that? Hey, what do you know? All right. But yeah, maintenance fools ain't getting out. You're gonna keep blocking me out of parking, man. And is that my kitties? Mommy hears dingle bells. See if I get in here. All right. Hi, kids. Mom loves you guys. Home sweet slum. Hello?
Yeah, you can't park your car there. If you don't move your car, I'll have it towed.
So why do you have your maintenance people block parking for me, and where should I park?
I'll give you 10 minutes to move the car, I'll have it towed.
Where should I park it near my residence where you've blocked me out of the nearby parking?
No, I did it. You don't need to park there.
Your maintenance people blocked my parking there, which is the only reason you're complaining about me.
You want me to pay to have it towed?
Where am I supposed to park?
Park in the front like everybody else.
Uh,
I'm going to give you 10 minutes, I'm going to have it towed. Last warning.
there are 3 vehicles parked back there.
Warning.
There are 3 vehicles parked back there. One of them belongs to you. Why would you block me out of disabled accessible parking?
I said I'm going to have it towed if you don't move it. You got 10 minutes.
Why would you park me out of disabled parking?
I already told you.
So yeah, time to call police again. Hi there. Let me roll down the window a bit.
Hello,
Hey.
I'm Officer Faith. I got Bank Police Department. So
Hey.
what's all going on?
More of the harassment from Louie LaRoque and Mike Burns and their crew of misfits. When I arrived home from work this evening, the maintenance vehicle was parked in, and whoever has the Chevy van, I live in that window right there. And a part of the extensive harassment campaign is to block me out of the disabled friendly parking and to lock that door, which is against code for a hotel, in order to prevent me from entering the building and entering my home and all that. I've been fighting with Burns and all his goons for more than 2 years, since August of 2022. With maintenance issues in the room and the harassment and everything else. Robberies have gone on. It's been a nightmare, but, I came here escaping human trafficking in Colorado, which is why I have the out-of-date, out-of-state plates. I'm disabled since 1998. I'm trying, workplace discrimination and all this and that, and I'm trying, but I'm stranded here. And so, anyways, and so in getting home from work and being blocked out of parking, since it's part of the harassment campaign with Burns and crew, I parked here because there isn't a parking space left available near, disabled entry. And so Louie came pounding in the door. If you don't move your car, I'm going to have it towed. And so I'm yelling, where am I supposed to park that's disabled friendly to park? And I already told you, move it or I'll have it towed. And so it's like I'm out here in the car, after calling 911 on speakerphone, in the process of getting out here. And so he came out, took pictures of me and the license plates on the car, and all that. I've been robbed so many times. I've been struggling to even get my Montana driver's license because my identification papers, social security card, birth certificate got stolen. So I finally got those replaced because every time I paid to get them replaced, Burns and goons would steal it out of the mail. So I'm a jeweler at the West Side Mall. I had decent enough sales this farmer's market season. I'm sorry, I'm not armed or anything. I didn't mean to reach in a pocket with, anyway. So I've been finally able to get a few sales at the farmer's market, working at my own pace because, I can't guarantee I could show up for a shift because my body pains and everything else going on. So I do what I can at my shop, made good sales, got my IDs replaced, got my Montana driver's license finally. I'm going to reach in for that. And so if it weren't for the Social Security super hack, I would have had Montana plates on my car finally. But as it is, I've only had brief employment spurts and discrimination and everything else at those jobs. And so it's been difficult to even make bucks to make headway. And then the Social Security hack happened, so I'm zero income this month. And dealing with this harassment and being locked out and all this nonsense. He's probably locked me out of the building now, So I'm just trying to exist in peace and have disabled access parking to my slum that doesn't have plumbing and has flickery electrical and shorting out appliances. And I'm sorry to ramble at you, but stress reaction and everything, and this is just.
I can go talk to him, but there's not a posted sign. I know there's a handicap parking in the front.
Yeah, but I live in the way back, so that
I understand that, but you said that they don't have a disabled parking, but they do. It's in the front of the business. And about the doors being locked, I'm not too sure about that because obviously I know you're a tenant here. I know you've lived here since you've moved from Colorado. I've known you to live in this back room, right?
Yeah, that's where I've been. So disabled access parking is here, not on the front of the building. It has to be within X feet of the entrance to where I'm going. And so, I could move the car about 10, 15 feet back and be in behind the Toyota and this vehicle that it's one of Burns's goons' cars. Rodney bought a couple of meth heads, Altera and whatever her dude's name is. He bought him a few vehicles and gave them the room that was next to mine with the express purpose of harassing me. And so, how my passenger side of my car is all keyed up, both of my bumpers are misaligned. That's because of Altera and her dude under orders from Rodney Burns. This vehicle belongs to them. They don't even live here anymore. But when Rodney bought them, this vehicle and some other ones, he also mentioned my friend Rory Tilley out on Jensen Road, who passed away about a year ago. Rodney mentioned all of his, out of commission vehicles and had them siphon the gas out of those vehicles, which, ruddy old sediment gas ended up blowing those engines in those cars that Rodney bought those tweakers in order to harass me. So a bit of karma there. But this vehicle is stuck here with no owner living nearby. This van, the Caravan, is Burns's property. That's his maintenance goons. They don't even live in this building. I don't know what work. I have.
These are Rodney Burns's.
Oh, the other Chevy is too?
These are both Mike Burns's, not Rodney's.
Okay. So he's used his vehicles in order to block me out of disabled-friendly parking. And now, I don't have a safe place to park that's near the entrance, near my home. Do you see where I'm getting at here?
Yeah, and I would have to look at the laws, but, like I said, I know that they have the handicap parking out front, but I don't know the statutes of how far and how stuff has to be, for an entryway, but, I've never known this to be like a handicap parking. I've known it to be in the front because I know there's a lady in a wheelchair that also resides here, and they park in the front with their handicap accessible van.
Right.
I can.
Well, that's because you can't get the wheelchair in this door here, so they have no option but to go in the front because this whole door assembly is so far against building codes.
And I can talk to them, but I mean, I guess what I'm gonna say is that it's not illegal for them to park back here.
Well,
It'd be a different story if there was a handicap sign up, right? It'd be a totally different sign.
Right, but they need to provide accessible parking for a disabled tenant that they parked in the way back of the building, and to use their vehicles purely as a harassment measure to prevent me from having accessible parking near my residence. You know, this is part of the harassment and the illegal eviction actions and the BS-ery they're doing because I have the audacity to believe that I deserve working plumbing and electricity in my home. So this is just where it's escalated to.
Okay, and you said you don't have the PIN code for the door?
No, nor do I have a key for the door. He's installed that with the express intent to lock me out, as his wife has admitted on a previous video.
Do you have that on video?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. If I could have that business card I gave you back, I'm going to reach into my pocket for a pen so I can write my YouTube channel handle on there. Okay, it's at, I'm dyslexic, so I'm going to write down a few versions of it that might work. Darn. I'm going to have to pause this and go look up my YouTube channel. And I've covered the previous videos, the code violations at the front of the building where, you know, similarly it's locked and access is barred. Unless, you know, you have a key or you're told the passcode. So that bars fire and rescue. But for maintenance issues, this sink, as you can see from the tool marks on the faucet here, I had to fix this myself because it was jammed with sand from a plumbing breach that happened right around when I moved in. Plumbing blew, sand got in the works, and instead of doing anything about it, they're like, oh, run water, it'll flush out. Well, what it did was clog up the works instead of flushing anywhere. And so this drain I discovered was plugged after I fixed the faucet, and then the sink wouldn't drain. So I had to figure out how to disassemble this. Now I can't get it back together, but I cleaned this the best I could. I dumped a ton of Drano down there. And now the sink actually works. You know, I can't attach the plug, but the sink works. It drains really great. And if I pull the doodad behind the sink and push the little thingy down and kind of finagle it a whole bunch, it might actually plug when I need it to plug, sort of. It's as good as I could get myself with no plumbing training. Ooh, sounds like Louie's big Angie. Do you hear that slam? Okay. Further maintenance. The issue with the toilet, I'm going to put this off the side because I don't know if it flushed successfully last time. Okay, cool. It's not too embarrassing. Okay, here's the toilet. And attempting to flush the toilet yields mixed results. Usually it will stop running water as soon as you let go of the flush. And see, this is the other outcome, is that it'll start to flush, but then all it'll do is fill up the bowl, but it won't actually flush. So it might be a double or triple flusher to even, you know, make urine and toilet paper go down. So now we would have to wait for the flush cycle to complete, And then we'll run it again. Shoot, man. That always takes forever to fill. So I'm going to move on to the bathtub. Okay, this bathtub, as you can see, has a really deep recess in it that's been this horrible rust stain. I have been scrubbing the ever-loving snot out of it, and you can see, where the scrubbing has had effect and made progress. The entire rust stain used to be this dark brown rust color. I have made extensive progress in the last 2 years. Every time I do my normal bathroom scrubbies, which is every time I bathe, because as you can see, the cats and, cat hair, cat debris, because they like to drink out of the puddle recess. So, just pop that there for them. I just run them a little water and pop it there so they could forage water and feel all, self-reliant. This is the drain mechanism. As you can see, the button is fully down, which releases the drain and, lets it, release the water. It is almost impossible to get the button to stay down. It's usually in this mid-neutral position where it's kind of plugged, but kind of allowing water. In order to run a bath, you're supposed to, pull it all the way up, and it's supposed to stay there, but it goes down to this neutral position. It may or may not hold bath water, which I'll demonstrate when there's not a moo kitty foraging water. So now that she's foraging water and the toilet's done running, let me attempt this flush again. You flush it, and and you flush it. It actually runs a flush, which usually, as I said, it stops the flush cycle as soon as you release the button. So when flushing the toilet, I have to hold the button down for the entire flush cycle until it drains all the water and starts refilling, until it gets to this stage here. So I'm gonna stop the snippet for now. You can see how much Drano I've needed to. I've been dumping so much down the sink and the tub. Well, while we're waiting for the toilet to fill back up. The tub takes forever to drain. When I'm done in the bath, I start to release the water, which requires fiddling with the button. It's supposed to stay down, but it doesn't really, so you gotta kind of mash it, and now it's actually down, so now the tub will actually drain. If I move around too much, the button will flip back up and water will stop draining. So I have to set the drain to release the water as I begin shaving and climbing out and drying off. The tub isn't empty again until after I've finished brushing my hair, which I'll show you later tonight because I do need to take, my daily bath. So, okay, now that this has quit running again, hit the flush, and that's what usually happens. I hit the flush and it doesn't. So usually I need to hold it. As you can, there's no resistance here, but usually it just pushes right back up. So I have to hold it, and now it's done flushing, and now I release, and that's the only way to actually guarantee a flush in here. I knew there was another thing I had to show with the refrigerator. The functionality of the size of the refrigerator. If I get a pizza from Pizza Hut, which is the only pizza place around here, except for the nice one next door that's super expensive because it's a mom and pop shop, so he has to charge because he doesn't have corporate backing. Anyway, if I get a pizza from Pizza Hut or from over at the Nice Neighbors, I can't store the leftovers. I need to repack onto a plate or something. I can't do a buy one, get one on nothing. I can't even stash a gallon of milk in here, bro. So this isn't like a strictly maintenance law thing, but how do you expect it to be livable?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Right. Well, the point of handicap parking is to give handicap accessible entry to disabled people. And so to have somebody parked, living in the back of the building where the disabled parking is at the other end of the building is also against code. And so part of the agreement to even live here was that I would be allowed to park back here in order to get into my home swiftly and safely. And Louie and then Rodney Burns and his crew before that were making it a point of preventing me from having the accessible parking. It needs to be accessible to the entry to the residence. That's up in the front isn't handicap accessible parking to someone like myself who lives in the back of the building.
Okay.
So.
All right, we're gonna go talk to them real quick, and then I'll come right back out and talk with you. Okay?
Okay. I'm just gonna move the car back about 10 feet. Oh wait. Shoot. With your cars, I probably shouldn't. Okay. I'll stay put.
Okay.
I love it when cops don't know the law. Oh my gosh. So here I am, a disabled person whose new partner used to build huge buildings and knows building codes. So, oh dear. We have a lot of cops out here for this. Oh dear. I'm tired of being harassed. I'm just tired of it. And there's an officer right in the back of my car here.
Sticker on it.
Hi there.
Hello.
It's another day of being harassed and bothered by Louie and Burns and crew.
Yeah.
Louie had his people block me out of accessible parking, so there isn't a spot for me to park that's near my residence. And so I parked where I could, where that, 4Runner would be able to, back up, go forward, wherever it needed to go.
Yeah.
This vehicle that isn't moving, isn't relevant. And Burns can get his vehicles out, themselves. So, I've been blocked out of disabled accessible parking near my residence. And Louie came trying to pound in the door. You don't move your car, I'm going to have it towed. Well, where am I supposed to have handicap accessible parking? And, oh, you're not disabled, you don't need to park anywhere. And
registration for this?
Yeah, it's in here somewhere. If it weren't for the Social Security, it's in here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. And if not, it's in my file cabinet in my home.
Try to find it, because as of right now, it looks like this is expired.
Right, I know. I
It's showing that it was expired in 2022 is the sticker that you have on.
I came here escaping human trafficking in 2022 and got robbed in this room after my arrival. Been discriminated against at work because of being disabled and not from here. When I moved here, my birth certificate and social security card were stolen. My attempts to replace them, wait for it to get mailed to me, that got stolen because of Burns and people intercepting the mail. So farmers market sales finally enabled me to get a post office box.
I'm going to talk with them for a few and see what they figure out.
Okay. So, hey there. Yeah, as I was telling that officer there, okay, I guess not.
Hello, ma'am.
Hey there. As I was telling the other
Can you
office...
roll this down? I can't hear you.
Okay. I'm just going to turn it just to... Yep. Okay.
So, I kind of understand. I got the gist of what's going on here. I think I found a solution.
Okay.
So, they're willing to give you a spot back here, but they got to deal with this car first, okay?
Okay.
So, they're in their process of trying to get it towed. They did say that you are okay to park next to the Jeep.
Okay.
So, you can park either...
Well, would behind or next to be more out of the way?
You know, I will see if maybe they can either push it one way or the other, and whatever has more room.
Okay.
Okay, is that good with you?
Yeah, that's great with me as long as I have handicap accessible parking. And with
Okay. I understand there's a little bit of a cussing match going on today. Next time, if
he
we
was
just...
the one cussing at me.
Okay,
I was on video with it.
Okay, I haven't talked to you yet. I've just talked to them. It was my understanding there's a little bit of an argument going on. Maybe if we can just refrain from doing that next time, okay?
He's been harassing me this whole time, and I'm just trying to defend my right to exist, you know?
Okay. Well, they do have appropriate handicap parking.
At the opposite end of the building from where I live.
I mentioned that to him, that the distance between here in your room was a lot shorter than up front and there. So I did relay that to him. And they are in the process of getting you a spot, but they got to take care of this car first, okay?
Okay, yeah, there's been no attempts to do anything about that car over several months of it not even running.
I don't know what the process was, okay? But I'll have him scoot the Jeep either forward or backwards, and then you can either park or in front or in the back. Is that good with you?
That's great.
Perfect.
And then, yeah, with relations... Okay, thank you. And then, yeah, with relations to the Montana plates, as you can see, I just got my Montana license this past, a month ago.
Okay.
When I came here from human trafficking, my birth certificate and social security card were stolen, so I was unable to get a Montana license. My attempts to replace those documents were intercepted in the mail by Burns and his goons because they always get the mail before they give it to you. Farmers market sales this year enabled me to get a P.O. box, so my birth certificate and social security card arrived safely. So I finally was able to get my Montana license now, 2 years after I arrived here.
Okay.
And if the social security super hack hadn't happened, my check never arrived. And so if my check had arrived, I would have been in at the courthouse on the 26th of August getting Montana plates paid for. But as of right now, I'm zero income except for what I'm able to finagle on my business on my
I can
shop.
understand that. You cannot drive this vehicle in the state of Montana without having it registered, because it's not registered out of Colorado either. It's completely expired. It's been expired since 2022. You as the driver and the owner, you have to have registration or the vehicle should not be driven on the roads.
I've been doing everything in my power to get registration and have had those documents stolen multiple times. I finally got my driver's license here.
You can get a registration without having a driver's license for here.
I attempted that and was not able to. I needed to have a Montana license before I could get Montana
You just
plates.
have to be able to show address. As long as you had address showing here for mail or something, they would have given you a registration.
I tried that at the courthouse. I tried that at the courthouse. Gary Peterson at Albertsons was with me.
I can take as much as you want to say. I understand that. I've talked to you multiple times about it. In this case, we cannot have this driving on the roads without you having it registered. Period. End of story. If this continues, you could potentially have 1 ticket, and 2, if it continues to be an issue, the vehicle could actually be towed. That's all I'm telling you.
How am I supposed to get it registered when my income was hacked by the Social Security hack?
I can't tell you. If you're able to drive, instead of driving and everything else, you can save the money or whatever you need to do.
I'm missing a leg, sir. I need to be able to drive in order to go more than half a mile.
I understand that. But
clearly you don't.
I'm sorry. Driving is a privilege. It's not a right. It's not. You have to have...
It's an absolute necessity for a disabled person, and I would have been registered and everything fine if Burns and his people hadn't been stealing from me the entire time I've been here.
I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm telling you The vehicle has to be registered. I understand you're handicapped. I understand you're missing a leg. I understand moving is hard. I'm telling you, you are still the owner of this vehicle. It needs to get registered. That's all I'm telling you.
And how am I supposed to register it without any income? It would have been registered on the 26th of August if it weren't for the super
And
hack
even on
that
the
just
26th
occurred.
of August, that still would have been a year and a half expired. It needs to get
I
registered.
finally got
That's
my
all I'm telling you.
Montana license and finally able to register the vehicle as of the 6th of August. And I didn't have the money to register the car at that time. My first of the month never
Within that
hit
time, I know
because
you've had multiple jobs. I know you've
I
been-
had a job at Pizza Hut for 4 months, which allowed me to survive barely.
Yep.
I had a job at Albertsons for 4 months, which allowed me to treat my breast cancer that almost killed me while I was waiting for the mammogram.
But within
And then
all
I
those
was
times-
discriminated and slandered out of that job, and so I haven't had a
I'm done.
job in a
I'm
year and a
telling you
half.
this needs to get registered. That's all I'm telling you. Within those times, you have had the ability to
No,
figure
I
something
did
out and
not.
get this registered, and you have not. That's all I'm telling you.
I did
It
not
needs to get
have
registered.
the
Okay.
money and ability
Okay.
to do that, and
gonna
I was
leave.
still struggling to get my identification
We're gonna leave
papers
now.
replaced because
You had
Burns
your
and
ID.
his people
You've had
kept
your ID in the
stealing.
past.
I've had
I
my
understand.
ID.
Okay.
I've had
I'm
my
not gonna
ID
argue
for a
with you.
month.
Have a good rest of your day. This needs to get registered. Okay?
I'm glad I have this harassment on video. Even their vehicle isn't functional.
the break?
Are you kidding me? Even their vehicle isn't functional. It's taking 3 officers to push the landlord's vehicle that doesn't function. And this is the situation I have to deal with. And this is how the harassment campaign has accelerated, so... So yeah, I'll be posting this evening. And I'll be calling some friends for some help. I will be pulling the vehicle back because I ain't pushing it. And surprise, surprise, there was no offer of the officers to help me move my vehicle that I quote unquote can't be driving.